during the course of our friendship, Mark and I have had plenty of discussions about this. And these kind of topics are not just things he's reciting to get a result. He's genuinely interested in these things.
That's true.
I'm genuinely interested in these things.
I talk about this all the time.
All the time. And to the extent, and one of the points I want to make is, I jotted down here, is knowing what to be curious about. Knowing what to be curious about and what to pay attention to is an important seduction pattern as the actual languaging. And particularly knowing what to be curious about. Not just what to be curious about with the individual woman, but what in the world and the way people works generally makes you curious. And to the extent that you can know what to be curious about, and to the extent that you can genuinely extend your curiosity into these subjects, then when you talk about it, it's going to be sincere. If it's just something you're reciting to get the result, you'll still get the result some of the time, but not as powerfully as if you're genuinely interested in it. So if you guys really want to be master seducers, expand your curiosity. Expand your genuine curiosity. It's part of what is required to get really good at this. It's part of what's required if you want to move beyond the stage of just rehearsing something that you've memorized. If you really want to breathe life into it and make it who you are rather than something you're doing, become genuinely curious. And the other thing I wanted to say is knowing what to pay attention to is as important as what you say. Those are all very powerful patterns of seduction. But there's something else I wanted to ask about you. I've noticed now, I learned something about you today. I always learn new things about you and from you. You have this recurring theme, and I think it's a great theme to bring all of this up, special places. Mm-hmm. You are constantly talking about, your locket pattern is about that special place where you can lock away that happy memory and bring it back up when you want it, when it's appropriate. Right. I'm very curious to know, as your thought process, how did you get so interested in this theme of special places in the mind?
As I started rummaging around inside the minds of women over a process of years with thousands of women coming in and pouring their hearts out to me, what I found was they had ideas about what their life was like, what was going to happen, what was inevitable in their life. And if I tried to confront that head on, I was hitting them right where it was strongest. Because I could sit them down and I could talk to them and say, well, you know, what's possible in your life is you can change right now. You can decide. You can go off and do these wonderful things. And they go, yeah, that's great. And then they walk out and they've got their car and it's got a ticket on it. Okay, and they go home and the kids are upset because they wanted pizza for dinner and dinner's late and they're going to end up having chicken instead, okay? And they're boring Bob, the husband, comes home and all he wants to do is bitch about his life, and then he goes to sleep on his boxers, you know, and his boxers on the sofa. There's so much reinforcement about real life, it's very difficult to confront ideas and attitudes and feelings about real life head on. But if instead you were to take something that is by definition apart from their life. Now this can be something that's outside that they can learn to appreciate. It can be a part of them inside, and this is so common with women. There's a part of them inside that's not being appreciated, that they're not letting out. They feel no one would understand. They think that because of the reality of their life, it's just